All right, what's going on, guys? We're back. Huddle Up Sports Podcast. I believe we're on number 14. I don't know if we uploaded the last one.
I,
We might just, that was right at the end of my busy season. We might be just cooked on that one, but I don't think there's anything super crazy besides maybe some NBA predictions. So I'll have to look back on that, but
the last
we
one we
got,
did was the like the Bengals off season, and then the MLB opening week.
okay,
I feel like that was
so
the last one. I think, yeah.
it might be, yeah, who knows? But we're back. I think we should be freeing up a little bit of time here. This is the earliest we've recorded, I think. So this is pretty solid. We got some draft today. We're gonna hit on that first. NFL draft, which is tomorrow. This will be uploaded tonight, so about a little less than 24 hours before the draft. So should be a good little preview there. And then we're right in the middle of NBA playoffs, so we're gonna hit on that. Hit on a couple surprising games and outcomes and predict kind of how we think it's going to go for the rest of the way. So for the draft, I kind of just want to start with I don't want to start with like some scorching hot takes. Yeah, we'll get there. But who are you? We've kind of done like the rundowns of like our teams, I guess, so we can talk about our teams or broaden it too. Like, what's a move that you think should happen, whether it's a trade up, trade down, or just a pick, like kind of a like this team needs to do this to make a giant leap.
Yeah.
Give me that.
um, I think the most surefire thing that I can think of, and maybe this isn't even the most surefire thing available, but I do think that the Chargers will probably take a receiving weapon at 22. I think it is.
That
Um,
seems right.
I think they'll either take Loveland or the best receiver available. Someone to complement McConkey. I do think that Loveland is probably the most likely. I don't know if I'd be shocked to see them trade up for him, but I think that they might want to see how the board plays out and let the best option, like if Luther Burden slips to them, or if Matthew Golden finds his way to 22. I think those are pretty likely. Um, I think the other thing that's the most likely will be if the Panthers don't get, they'll either for sure take Jalen Walker from Georgia, or they'll take uh, Tetaroa McMillan from
Mhm.
Arizona, the receiver. I think they're for sure locked in on one of those guys. I think it's more likely they take Walker. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking, but I think those are pretty surefire. And then I think another surefire would be the Browns not taking a quarterback at two. I think it's for sure going to be Travis Hunter. Cam Ward at one's like a lock. I think everyone,
Yeah.
that's just how it is. And then I don't think Gentsy's going to go to the Raiders. I don't know if that's a
You
hot.
don't.
I know. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't think Gentry. I think okay. Hot take. Sorry to break off the surefire, but hot take. I think
Yeah, yeah.
someone will trade up to get Gentry.
Okay, so in that, I'm not going to interrupt it. I'm just curious. What pick is it, and who is it that trades up?
So I think Jacksonville's smoke screening with the Gentry rumors at five. I think it'll for sure be Mason Graham for them, which I guess is another surefire thing. So Mason Graham at five. I think at six the Raiders take maybe an offensive lineman because I think that their thought process is they could get somebody in the later rounds to run behind said offensive lineman as opposed to drafting Gentry and then going offensive lineman in the second or third or whatever. I don't know what picks they have, but I think that's more likely. I think who's at seven?
7 is the Jets.
Okay, so the Jets sure as hell are drafting. They have like 19 running backs. I think the Jets will use their pick. I think the Panthers will use their pick at eight. Maybe the Saints at nine would be a good trade back option just to see if Gentry falls. I mean, I don't know if I'd be like stunned if the Raiders take Gentry. I just don't think that they're in the business for him as commonly mocked he is to
Hmm.
the Raiders. I know this is going to be crazy to say, but I wouldn't be. I've seen more surprising things. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams try to get up because I know the Rams really, 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 really want like a game-changing running back. They always do this BS with like the whole like the Rams have been doing like they had a 30 with Jalen Milroe, and the last time they had a 30 with a player was 8 years ago when they took Jared Goff in the first round. And so everyone's like, oh my God, Jalen Milroe to the Rams, which I could see happening, just not in the first. Like if he was a fourth round pick, I'm all ears for it. Um, but I do see them potentially making a move up into the top 11 ish to try and get a game changer. It could be Genty, and they could move Kyron for like a day 4 or day 3 pick, like a fourth rounder, and then have Genty and Corum, and then kind of see how that works or whatever combination of the two. Um, but with the Rams have had in the history of the NFL, like I mean, there's two right here, but they've had like the best track record of having running backs: Dickerson, Falk, Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
Gurley. Even Kyron Williams has been good the last couple of years, and then I mean, there's guys like Bettis, and there's a few that I'm working on that played back in the '80s that were absolute monsters, '80s, '70s. Like they have the best track record for running backs. They know what they want in a running back, and I'm sure that Genty is high on their board. Obviously, they're at 26 right now, but I do think that they want a playmaker, and I'm assuming they're willing to make a splash this year, whether it be for Genty or Warren. I'm kind of low on the Warren train now. I know I texted you that I'd be okay with it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm changed my mind. I'm back off the Warren train. I'd rather see them draft Burden at 26 and just have a litany of receivers that they could throw out there, or like draft later in the draft, get Mason Taylor. That's kind of like a surefire thing. Um, but yeah, that's what I have right now that I can think of off the top. What about you?
So I'm gonna hit on Genty first because that's like that's my guy.
Yeah,
And then I'll hit on other stuff and get back to a couple of years too. So with the Genty situation, here's my overall like picture of it. I would not be I'm very high on him, as you know. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. I'm going to have a big bet on that.
and
Guarantee
people.
it.
Just side note, it's not like we get a ton of viewers on this podcast, but anyone who thinks Genty's going to be bad, just put your football card in a shredder and just forget about it. That
Like, I
he,
understand some of it genuinely, like the undersized piece. Like I get that's kind of an issue. It just in general, right? Like you don't want to undersized football player. I
yeah,
get that, but man, the guy's good.
yeah,
He's people are like, oh, he doesn't have hands. Well, they didn't really throw him the ball. You can argue on why that was. They were maybe trying to get him the Heisman, whatever. He should have won the Heisman. He's going to show why. But he could slip just because he's a smaller, running back. Running backs don't usually go high, but whatever.
Cowgirls
We'll
at
see.
12.
Yeah. Oh, I would be so mad. That would break my heart because I would have to get the jersey. I
Oh my
have to.
god.
Um, so I don't think he's going past 6. I
Whoa.
think if he's there for the Raiders, they're taking him. The only way that doesn't happen to me is if Raiders just want to trade the pick. I don't think they're doing that. I think they're trying to win now, and I think they're trying to get a game changer instantly, whether it be offense or they're just trying to get a game changer. And I think so they could trade the pick, but I don't think that's happening. I think if anything, the latest he's going is 6. Now Jacksonville's interesting. I think they're just kind of a dumpster fire. I think it'd be fun to have Genty in Jacksonville. You've had guys before, like even in their short tenure as a franchise, like MJD was so nice, small running back in Jacksonville. You kind of bring that back. I wouldn't hate it at all. Um, I'm trying to. The one trade I'm interested. There's maybe some bias here, but I've heard rumors about it. Could the Broncos trade up?
Hmm.
Um,
That's a good spot. That's the
I
most. running back needy team to ever exist.
I mean, I listen. You give Bo Nix a running game, you can feel however you want to about Bo Nix. It opens up for any quarterback you have. If you have a run game, it opens up everything. And they really didn't have a run game last year, and they still made the playoffs. So, I mean, I think it would be maybe like it would depend on what they're trading to go up, right? That's kind of the caveat with it because I don't think they're in a position to give up a ton of draft picks. But it's something to watch out for. This is coming from the guy who called Penix to the Falcons last year, so we'll see. Um, Broncos, I'm looking out for with a Genti pick. I don't think there's any other teams that would really trade up for him. Looking through, um, no, I think that would be it. The Rams, I've kind of come around on them getting a running back. I think it's very possible, especially if you can get value for Kyren. But again, it's like I don't. This feels like a weird spot to trade up for a running back because it's such a deep running back class. Even though you got the blue chip guy arguably at the top, I mean you can get really good value in rounds 2, 3, and 4 at the running back spot. So I don't really see a team trading up, but is it possible? Sure. I just think he fits so well in Vegas. I think that makes a lot of sense. Give Geno a run game. I mean, they've got pieces, and I'm sure they'll get a receiver in the third, fourth round ish. So, um, let me think here. Okay? So Cam Ward. Back to what you were saying. Cam Ward, number one. That's surefire. Feels like Travis Hunter, surefire as well. Could Cleveland trade the pick? I would not be surprised if they traded the pick, though. They maybe because here's the interesting team of the draft to me is New England. I think that's like they're in a very weird spot because they really want Hunter or Carter, and they're at 4. So could they trade up to make sure they get one of those guys at 2? And that would change everything, right? Because then the Giants are in a little bit of a weird spot too if they were able to trade up to 2.
Well, I think
Um,
if the Patriots traded up to 2, and let's just say they took Hunter because they signed Milton Williams, signed Carlton Davis, right? Like
mhm,
maybe they go away, considering in this hypothetical, considering Travis Hunter an offensive player. I think
mhm.
if Patriots go to 2 and they draft Hunter, I don't think the
Yeah.
Giants would be upset with Carter at 3. But
Oh, they'd be fine with it, but I wouldn't be shocked to see the Patriots go Carter either. I know they signed a bunch of defensive guys, but they really build that identity.
yeah,
Vrabel's there. I mean,
that'd be a fun
Abdul
defense.
Carter is. I think he's the best prospect in the draft. I don't think
Carter,
that's a yes.
I think I think it's close between Hunter and Carter. But if Carter plays like the other number 11s from Penn State, then I'd probably give it to Carter. But if
Yeah.
I don't know, dude, if Hunter, I could very like Hunter to me reminds me as a receiver of Jerry Judy. Like he runs very like loose. I don't know how to just like I never played football, but they
Yeah.
run kind of like loose is how I describe it.
No,
And then
I can see that. I kind of
as
know
a
what you mean.
as a corner, I don't know what I'd put his comp to be. I mean, he's around like Denzel Ward size, if I can pull that one off the top of my head. Good Browns comp there. Um, but
Yep.
it's going to be hard for Travis Hunter. I do think he's like he could very well be the best player in this draft. Like it's something that we've never seen before. I just don't know which team's going to take him, obviously, and then depending on the team, like are they going to? I'm assuming it's going to be like a 60-40, 70-30 split on snaps. So it's
Yeah.
like which side of the ball are they playing primarily, all that jazz.
Yeah, I think my struggle with Travis Hunter because I think he's phenomenal, genuinely. Like I thought, Genti should have won the Heisman, but like Travis was deserving. It's like the MVP race in the NBA. Like I think Jokic should win it, but I'm not here just crapping on Shea. Like he's phenomenal too. It's just kind of a pick your guy.
Yeah.
But the thing with Travis in the draft and for the NFL is like I think Will Johnson's a better corner, and I think you have better pure receivers. So
I look, he don't outside of Burden. I don't think there's a better receiver. Like
it's close. I'm not
McMillan.
super high on McMillan, and he's
Yeah,
been mocked very weirdly. I'm not sure where he's going to end up. That's a whole nother thing. Um, I don't think Trav is some like blue chip of either, and so you're kind of betting on the two position upside, which I think I've seen Trav make some crazy plays with. He just has a sense of where the ball is going to be. He ball hawking, whether it be offense or defense, right? And I think you're betting on him being a nickel guy and a receiver, and that's fair upside. But if he doesn't play any corner, then I don't know. It's weird. It's weird for me. Like the upside is phenomenal. Like
yeah,
'cause you're talking about like a prime time esque, like archetype and player. Like they're similar, right? To but played both positions, very dynamic with the football in their hands, whether it be offense or defense. So it's weird. I don't know how he's going to pan out. We really don't know what position he's going to play yet. Like, does he even really have a declared position? It's like, why? It's like on this mock draft, it still says wide receiver slash corner. He doesn't have like one that he's.
yeah. But that's like his whole thing is that he was like, yeah, I'd quit before teams didn't let me play both positions. I think he could be a really good receiver. Like he just has like a twitch to him. I don't know. He has good hands. Like he has good speed, and he's just very fluid. Like I
Yeah.
could very well see him being like 1,000 yard receiver pretty consistently. Like not Mike Evans, but like I think he could put up pretty good numbers at least offensively. I'm not as hyped as on him as a corner. Hot take: I think Jade Barron will be the best corner out of the draft, just because he has versatility to play nickel and then can kind of move around. He plays physical and doesn't have the injury history like Will Johnson.
Yep. That's
Um,
fair.
I like. I mean, shit. If the Rams got either of those two pure corners, I'd be doing backflips tomorrow night, but that's not happening. But at least with Travis Hunter, I think he is a blue chip just because you've never seen anything like it before. I mean, Carter's probably the more Carter's definitely the more surefire pick.
Yeah,
Um,
he's gonna come in and put up 12 sacks as a rookie
yeah,
and whatever. Like I think it's pretty guaranteed to me.
yeah. I
Um,
just I could very well like if Hunter goes to the Giants and they have Jameis or Russell Wilson throwing to the and he has neighbors across from him, like his life is
yeah,
going to be
that's
so much
scary.
easier.
Yeah,
I mean, no
that's
shade
scary.
to LeJay Webster, whatever that dude's name was last year with the Buffaloes, but like it's Malik Neighbors. Like he's going to
Yeah.
be who's
Oh,
it,
for sure. Oh, for
Mister
sure.
Golden Sports booty butt naked open? Like it's about to be a feast for the receivers there with the two of them. I mean, even
It
if he
would get
goes to the
wild
Browns,
in
him and
here.
Judy, like that's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
No, I'm very interested. It's hard to figure out what he's going to do next year. I agree. He's like a very talented prospect.
yeah,
It's kind of like the best comparison I have is when you like recruit, you'll see like high school
athletes.
recruits be like athletes, and you're like, okay, we'll just put them on the team and like see what position they play. That's kind of the situation here.
Yeah,
We'll kind of just see
that's very fair.
we'll see. Maybe he'll play more corner. Maybe he'll play more receiver. I mean, he clearly has the ability to do it. I mean, we don't know what it's going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
Um, I'll pivot really quick. I think in terms of what I want to see,
Hmm.
sorry, I've been kind of rambling, jumping all over the place, but
No, you're good.
um, I'm scrolling through really quick. There was one thing I had in mind. Your take on the Chargers is interesting because Harbaugh, the last thing he wants to do is draft a receiver in the first round, I think, but they need it. for
Well, I
sure.
mean,
So
they took Lad at like 33 last year, so that's basically the first round.
that's basically the first. I mean, that's fair. I guess it's just early, which their pick isn't early this year. So we'll see.
They need like there's a few area like interior offensive linemen, sure, but I think the Chargers fandom would probably set their headquarters on fire if they took another
Yeah.
offensive lineman over a weapon. I mean, Herbert threw for 5,000 yards his second year in the NFL, and he had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. And like Keenan Allen's like fringe Pro Bowl guy, but like Mike Williams is always hurt,
Yeah.
type of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, what were we talking about? I totally lost my train of thought.
I was talking about the Chargers at 22.
Oh,
Like, I think it's interesting that I don't,
I
I'd
mean
be
they have
shocked.
no tight ends. Like receiver, you can like maybe get by with just Ladd and like Quentin Johnston, which holy moly. But like Will Disley's their starting tight end.
Yeah. They might go tight end. I don't hate that. I think that's a fair take.
Yeah,
I just in modern day NFL, unless it's like the Travis Hunter or blah 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 McMillan,
yeah.
like one of the elite receivers, Burden as well. Like you can get a lot of really good receivers later in the draft. Like even like third round, you see a lot of third round picks blossom pretty well at receiver in the modern day NFL. So we'll see what they do there.
Tatum,
I'm
Tatum's out
pushing
of
back
game
a little
two.
bit. What do you say?
Tatum's not playing game two.
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, I'm still
Whoa.
betting Celtics, but um, let me just see really quick. Um, I wonder. I think the team that's. I mean, the Niners have a very interesting draft ahead because they got to hit on guys ASAP. Like the win total for Vegas is 10.5. And I think for them to have a chance at going over, they got to hit like 7 or 8 plus of their draft picks.
I think
So we'll
they'll
see what they do. They might be a team that's going to trade up. They might trade down to get more. I think they could have a very active draft to try and, um, get guys on a cheaper salary because of the Purdy deal that's coming.
it would be smart of them to take an offensive tackle. Um, but they suck at drafting. Knock on wood, so they don't
Yeah,
draft some crazy player. But yeah, they suck at drafting for the most part. They were pretty solid last year, I think, except Ricky Pearsall's not good.
that's a weird one because he literally got shot. I don't know. Let's see what happens this year.
Yeah, he'll still be ass, but no disrespect to Pearsall. Like cool guy probably, but I don't think he looks like a wide receiver, like two and a half, like borderline a third wide receiver on your offense.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Um,
think could the Bears trade up
I don't know.
for
The Bears
Ricky?
for Genty was the team that I missed out on my little ramble. I think that that's a very interesting fit because
I would love the fit. I
especially
would
with
love.
that reworked offensive line.
Yeah, I think because like young running backs matter. Like I don't is Swift still on the roster for Chicago? I'm sure he is, but you want to get a guy.
Yes, Swift and Roshan, and I think they have another guy, but I don't know. I don't know how many of them. Let's just call it Roshan and DeAndre Swift for now.
Yeah, I guarantee they're picking running back in the first 3 rounds, and that's going to be their starter. Maybe they're high enough to trade up for Genty. I don't know. I just I think there are very few teams that are at the end of the day going to be willing to trade up for Genty, but I could be wrong on that. There are always shocking things in the draft, so we'll see. I think it's surefire he's going to be a Raider and win Rookie of the Year, so we'll see. Um, Other than that, I don't have any crazy hot takes. I don't think I haven't done enough in depth like draft research to really have anything too crazy.
You want me to
Uh,
start spitting some crazy shit?
yeah, let's see what you got. I'll react to it. I know enough about the players and the teams. I just who could move, who could go down. I don't know.
So just with the first round, I think the teams that are likely to trade up, I'm looking from the bottom up. I think the Rams are a target. I think the Broncos at 20 definitely could move up.
So let me pause on that really quick. I want to go to
Yep.
the Rams. Do you think they trade up and get who?
So I think if they traded up, it's gonna be for an offensive weapon. The last two, I mean, everyone talks about it. Last two drafts, tried getting Kincaid from the Bills, didn't work out. Tried getting Brock Bowers, trading with the Jets, didn't work out. I think this is the year where they're just like them picks like hardcore. Um,
Yeah.
because I think they're at a position now after after the Super Bowl run, they had the bad year with all the injuries and the money tied up, and then 2023 they were back in the playoff. Last year they made it to the second round. Like I think they know that they're sniffing on the doorstep of potentially a Super Bowl appearance or like an extended playoff run, and I think they want to bolster the offense. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Tyler Warren. I'd be really pissed if they traded up just to get Loveland. Um, Genti would be a pipe dream just because I think they have the offensive line to do it, and then Genti opening it up for Nakua and Adams is like hallelujah. Um,
Yeah.
I could also see them trading back and picking up a corner in the first part of the second round. A lot of people really like Trey Amos from Ole Miss. People really like. I mean, Jade Barron would be really cool at 26 if they didn't move, but I don't think. I think Jade Barron will go somewhere between 10 and 20, along with Will Johnson.
Where's
Um,
Muhammad from Oregon mocked right now?
is that a corner?
Hmm.
I haven't seen him
I'm
anywhere around
guessing
the
he's
first.
like third round ish. I just think that'd be a very interesting pick for the
I,
Rams as well.
yeah, I mean, the only thing that pisses me off is that they always pick corners in the last three rounds. So from four to, or I guess four, five, six, seven. In those rounds, they always pick corners, and they're always under 5'11", bro. And it's so infuriating. I'm tired of watching little like Kobe Durant is a good corner, like by advanced metrics. I have him on Twitter. I save him because
Yeah.
by advanced metrics, he's like a top 20 corner in the NFL. Like it's weird, but they never spend high draft capital on a corner, and if they could justify by moving back, like Trey Amos, Siobhan Ravel, Azariah Thompson, I really don't like Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky. Benjamin Morrison's name just kind of disappeared um, from first round drafts. I don't know what happened with him, but those are like five ish names that I could see them getting in the second round. I also wouldn't be pissed if they took Jahad Campbell at 26, if they
Mhm.
traded back to get Jahad Campbell. Um, that would be really nice. I just think that they have a lot of options that they can go with. But I do think that they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna pick at 26. The Rams. I
Yeah.
think
I
that's.
mean, that's fair.
And then, like you said, the Broncos moving up to get Genti. I don't think that they would trade up to get Hampton. I don't think Hampton's as good as people are making it out to seem. I honestly think the second best running back in the draft is the Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. I think he runs really well. I like
I
how.
agree with
I
that.
think he's built really well too for a running. Like he's got like almost Gurley size. Like I think he's a little bit shorter than Gurley. He doesn't fumble. Even the two kids out of Ohio State, I think Henderson's really good.
I think I
Um,
brought this up on the last episode.
uh-huh.
Those guys are
They're
really, really,
underrated.
really good. Yeah, I like that. That's why it's hard for me to see. Like, I think the Broncos should at least consider, moving up for Genti. But if the asking price is too high, totally just get Judkins or Henderson out of Ohio State
Yeah,
because they're both. I like some people might make the argument, okay, they're a little overinflated, played a really good program, but they're quick, they're strong, they can block, they know how to win.
they don't
That
fumble.
stuff matters. That stuff matters.
Yeah, no, I think they're underrated. I think the Vikings trading back is probable only because I could see a team trying to get a quarterback around that time, especially if Shador slips all the way to 24 somehow and a team wants to come back. I think people are saying that Tyler Shuck guy is supposed to be crawling up boards now, which I don't know if that's necessarily the play
Where's
to
he
make.
from?
Louisville, he's like the 26-year-old.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah. But
I don't know
everyone
about
says
that.
he's the most like NFL ready prospect out of all the quarterbacks right now. Like he's been through a lot. Like he's been injured. He's transferred. I think he was on Oregon at one point.
That sound. I might
He
have to
he
look that up.
he
He
was
would
he was
never
for. I
played.
don't remember when. I want to say like 3 years ago.
If that's true, he didn't play because I
No,
would know that.
yeah, he sure as hell didn't play.
Yeah,
But I do think that a team, even a Jackson Dart at 24, I don't think that he's going to be good, but other teams might think that. And especially because the Vikings already have basically their whole team figured out. I mean, the defensive
yeah.
line is probably the best in the league outside of the Texans, and Philly. Jesus, I forgot about Philly.
Let's
Um,
go.
yeah,
Texans, baby. Texans first. Let's go.
and the Vikings only have like 5 picks this draft. I could totally see them trading back to try and get guys who are maybe like a little bit cheaper and to
Hmm.
also get more picks. I think the Steelers. I think the Steelers will probably stand pat. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers maybe moved up a couple spots to get Loveland, like to make sure they get him. But I also don't think Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh's pretty stingy.
Yeah.
Um, I'm interested to see if the Colts move around because Tyler Warren to the Colts just fits. Like that's just it makes sense to me. He would probably look really good in the Colts uniform. It's one of those players that just looks right in a specific.
It's the Dallas Clark, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I can totally see them doing that. I don't I don't know what the Cowboys are gonna do, but I do know whatever they do, it'll piss off their fans. That's just surefire. That'll be my most surefire thing. The Cowboys will do something to piss off their fans. It'll probably be drafting a guard because why the hell not? Um, but I want to say out of those teams, I mean, at least in the top 10, the teams that I think could move are the Jets. If Glenn wants to get more draft capital, um, I could totally see that. I could see the Bears moving back to get accumulate more players. I think the Saints are an interesting thing. I don't think the Panthers will move off 8. I think the top 3 will remain the same, but there could just be a Hail Mary. Like people are talking about this is the most unpredictable draft in a while, on top of the fact that there's not really like outside of Cam Ward at 1, there's no surefire pick at 2. Like it's not obvious. Like how
Yeah.
like last year everyone kind of knew the order would be Caleb, Jaden, Drake. Um, I think that was maybe that's revisionist history, but that just kind of makes sense to me. But I don't think that at least at the back end of the draft, I don't think the Eagles are going to move. I think they're just going to take best player available. I think the Chiefs will probably take a tackle. I think the Bills could look at maybe getting an offensive weapon or bolstering up their offensive line. I don't. I mean, maybe they trade James Cook and they draft a running back and they don't want to pay James Cook. I could totally see that happening. The Commanders probably need another corner. I could totally see them taking corner to put it across from Stainstrill or Sanistrill, Mike, the kid from
Commanders
Michigan.
still have Lattimore, right?
Oh my God. Okay, so no corner. I could totally see them taking a safety. Malachi Starks to the
Yeah.
Washington Commanders. I almost called them the Skins. Um, the Lions, I think, will take best player available. Same with the Ravens. I think both those teams are candidates to take secondary help.
Well, the
Um,
Lions need it.
yeah, the
So,
Lions are Swiss cheese, but I mean, to be fair, everybody was injured last year. Like, if you started on the Lions defense, you had a government mandated 5 games missed, just because everyone was hurt except for Terry and Arnold. That dude is buns. Um,
his
but they'll get
TikTok's
like
hilarious, but
they'll get Ennis Rakestraw back this year, and then if they draft like a Jade Barron, that would be scary, or like a Malachi Starks. Actually, no, I mean they have Melifonwu, Branch, and the Dirtbag. So they're probably not taking a safety. So I could see them taking a corner maybe. Oh no, pass rusher across from Aiden Hutchinson. I'm tripping.
So that's interesting because this mock has him taking James Pierce, which again, I haven't done a ton of like mock research necessarily, but I know James Pierce very well, and he's like one of the more talented guys. He was mocked as like the first overall pick a year ago, and it just kind of fell off this past college football season.
Mhm.
There's a lot of character questions, which is interesting because it's not like a Jameis Winston crab leg situation. It's more of like just production and work ethic and like, not legal stuff. So I don't
That's
know.
honestly
I think
worse.
it's worse, but like,
I'd rather my player just make one stupid decision as opposed to like repeated behavior.
but maybe he heard all this stuff and he's just like, all right, let me get to the NFL. And
He
like,
said,
I still think he's talented. So I think it's a good fit for if he slipped to the Lions. I think that makes a lot of sense because I think he is a very talented pass rusher. He can come in right away
"Yeah,
and contribute. Because those guys, it's like a Jalen Carter, where you get him in a good organization. Like I think we're in a fair spot to call Detroit a good organization now. They've got a good foundation with Campbell, and I mean they're now a playoff team year in year out. So
yeah." The
I
dude
think
they
that makes
stole
a
from
lot
the
of sense.
Rams, the scout that they turned into their GM. I forget his
Yeah,
name, but dude's a demon.
yeah, he's cooking. Um, well, I was going to comment on one other thing, but yeah, the Colts are in an interesting spot because
They
like
suck.
you pick a tight end, but they have. I liked them a lot last year because I believe they do have a really good roster. It's just you got to have a quarterback. So, do they
They
pick
do,
tight
dude.
end?
Daniel Jones.
Could they trade down and try and accumulate talent for like the next draft? Get more picks. I think that's an interesting team to watch out for, especially with like the Texans being where they are, the Titans getting a number one quarterback in Cam Ward, and then the Jags having the number five pick. They're kind of at a weird spot where they could end up being last in the division, with how things are looking, even with the roster. So maybe they try and target quarterback next year, and therefore they kind of send that high pick, trying to get next year's picks. That's something to watch out for. I don't know how likely that is, but I could see that happening.
Yeah, I think if they stay there and they get somebody like Warren, and then you have, I mean, their offensive line isn't like crazy, but like Jonathan Taylor, Warren, Pittman, Pierce, Downs, and then you move, you play Daniel Jones this year for 1 year, you see how the year goes, you get another pick next year, you crapshoot at the quarterbacks then, and then you move Richardson for like a day three pick. I could totally see that happening. I want Anthony Richardson so bad on the Rams, it's unreal. I want Anthony Richardson over any prospect in this draft 10 times. Like I want him so bad, dude.
I can see it.
I would genuinely trade a fourth round pick to get Anthony Richardson today on the Rams.
I mean, I also think if the Rams have a chance to get Shador, I think that makes sense. Like, I think they're in a
Yeah,
position to get a quarterback with value. Um,
yeah.
but my critique on Shador for this process, and it's kind of fizzled out in the way I thought it would. Maybe not fall as much. We'll see what happens on draft day. Obviously, he's clearly got the arm and physical talent. I think he throws a really good ball. I think he's smart. Um, I think the question marks are with his dad, being his coach for his entire football career. That's pretty nuts to think about. But you put him in a situation, whether it be Pittsburgh, I think that fits really well with Tomlin kind of being a surefire culture guy. He may have offensive issues, but like I don't think he's gonna let like Shador like just kind of do whatever and be Shador. Like I think he would get molded pretty quickly. And Rams as well fit into that category where you have like a Sean McVay, you have kind of a team identity. It's a surefire culture. Like I think he fits well in that situation. Like I think if Shador were to go to like a Cleveland, as fun as it would be if they were to get Trav and Shador on the same team, I'm not super sold on that fit. Um,
He needs stability.
he needs stability. Yep. And I think like a year of him sitting in the LA situation would be really, really beneficial because he throws a really good ball. It's just
And he can
I
move a
think
little bit. Like
yeah,
he's
he's not a scrambler. He's not a
he's like
Milrow or a
Mahomes
yeah.
in that
He's a
sense.
Mahomes esque like mobility in the pocket for sure.
Yeah. I,
Um,
I mean, I honestly thought for the longest time too that he was better than Ward. I honestly don't think Ward is like I don't see, at least in the limited stuff that I've seen, I don't see Ward play, and then I look at Shadur and I'm like, golly, like this is like a 30 pick difference in the talent and the skill level between the two. I like it's just hard to believe to me that that's the case. I mean, I can understand the Titans needing a quarterback at one.
yeah,
If I'm the Titans, why wouldn't you just trade back? Like that does that not make any sense? Like, okay, you want the quarterback. There's a
yeah.
bunch of teams who would probably kill to have Travis Hunter or Carter, right? You trade the one, you go back to I mean, let's see. I mean, you trade back to three with the Giants. The Giants get their Cam Ward. The Titans get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, and then you wait for next year. I mean, they're going to be, pardon the French, they're going to be shit regardless. It doesn't matter who they draft. They could draft Lawrence Taylor out of his grave. They could
I
draft Warren Sapp off the Buffalo's coaching staff. They're still going to be ass. So it
I
doesn't
don't
matter.
know if the Titans are that bad.
Dude, okay.
I don't know.
No disrespect to Ruff, but they're dog water, dude. They don't have a single good weapon on offense outside of Ty J Spears. And
You
even
think
then,
Ridley's that cooked?
I just don't like maybe for like 2 years Ridley still got it, but like I guess at least future building, they don't have any guys that I'm excited for now as well as in 5 years outside of Ty J Spears. And even then I don't think Ty J Spears will be on the Titans in 5 years. Just guessing.
I think the hard part is like who is wanting to trade up for one? Like,
The Giants.
I
I
mean,
if the Giants really love Cam Ward as much as it's made out to seem, trade up to one. You trade, I mean, it's a two pick difference. You probably trade maybe the first next year and then like a fourth. I don't know how it would work. I wouldn't get fleeced over the pick, but I mean, if you can get like a couple more picks in addition and then draft arguably the best player available between Hunter or Carter, I mean, Cam Ward isn't going to be anybody's savior. I don't think. Like Cam Ward is not Jaden Daniels. Like he's not flipping the team around to the point where you're going to be competitive next year. Maybe because they're in a shit division outside of the Texans. Outside of the
no,
Texans,
no, I know.
but like even then, if the Titans had Cam Ward, they're not beating the Texans ever. They're not. That's two games right there. They might steal one off the Jags, and that's just because the Jags also pick at 5, and they're also dog water. The Colts put belt on the Titans as well too with Cam Ward. Like that's 4 games right there. Like I just don't see it happening in their division. I know that the Titans have to play the worst schedule in their division. Even then, I'm still like I don't think that they're going to reach 5 wins with Cam Ward. I'd rather them just trot out Will Levis's corpse, just let him throw the ball around. He's dog shit, and then they pick up Arch Manning next year. Like, does that not? I don't know why they don't do this. Like
I
this,
think I, I think it makes sense. I think the hard part is like you're not getting the value that you want trading the pick, I think.
but you do because you get arguably okay. Let's just say they get in this evaluation, they get Hunter, who's, we'll call him the second best player available in the draft, right? So you drafted 3 and you get Hunter.
Yep.
Okay. That's already a win. That's a win. Okay.
Hmm.
Now let's say you pick up a first and a third next year. Let's keep the return light. You keep a first and a third from the Giants. Okay.
Yep.
We can both agree the Giants aren't going to be sniffing the playoffs next year with Cam Ward, right? Cam Ward, Malik Neighbors, they could have a perfect draft. They have a good defense. I'll give them that. They have no secondary.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is with the Giants. I think they screw themselves in this hypothetical being in the NFC East because
Yeah.
you put them in like, I mean, obviously the NFC South. Maybe I think I like their like they have Malik. They have pieces. I don't think Dexter Lawrence as well. Like I don't think they're like
Yeah.
just
But
terrible, but they've just had
no.
QB problems forever.
But if, I mean, realistically, the Giants could very well end up last in the division. I think they'll be third this year ahead of the Cowboys. And then, chalk up Commanders, Eagles, however you want it. Probably Eagles won. But, like,
Yeah.
if the Giants are at best the third in their division, I mean, they're not better than any of the NFC North, arguably not better than any of the NFC West. And then the NFC South is a fake division. But even then, the Falcons are still better. I'd probably take the Saints maybe to be better. The Bucks will for sure be better. I think the Panthers will be better than the Giants. So it's like you're probably out of the 16 teams in your conference, you're probably bottom 4.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're Tennessee and you really think the Giants are going to be bad, then it could be worth it because you're getting good value in your picks that you get. But
Cuz
it's just, I guess what I'm thinking is like you're not getting a haul like the Bears did when they traded the pick.
but that was like, I think it's different circumstances cuz it wasn't like they traded out of the first, the Panthers did, to
Yep.
give the Bears that pick, and then they had the first the next year because of their own pick. I I wouldn't say they're parallel only because they're so close to each other, and I don't think that. Oh, Kirby Joseph just got paid 4 for 86. Shout out the Lions for botching that. You're paying
Wow, that's interesting.
21.5 million to not even the best safety in the league. Good job, Lions. But yeah, I mean, just hear me out on this. You flip picks, you get Travis Hunter to put with, or Travis Hunter for this year. You let him experiment and you figure out what it is this year. The Giants are so dog water next year. You get a top 10 pick, and you probably get more assets outside of the first round for next year. You bundle all that together to move up further to get a better quarterback, whether it's Arch Manning or I don't know who's supposed to be quarterbacks next year, but Arch Manning's an option, and I think there's a few more people like the kid from Nussmeier, um, the
Hmm.
loser from Texas A&M, Wegman. What is his name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wegeman.
You're not
But
good.
like, I would much rather trade out to 3 and have a top 10 pick next year along with other draft capital and still get arguably the best player available than just take Cam Ward, roll over and die. And then next year, when it's a QB, like a really good QB class, you're stuck with Cam Ward and you need every other position on the field to be filled. Like, outside of Jeffrey Simmons, who's on the Titans defense?
They still have Snead, but
And then outside,
uh,
you
yeah, I
know,
mean it's not a lot for sure. I don't. I'm with you overall. I guess it's just you the number like it's hard to just trade that pick and sell that to your fan base, etc.
but like,
It's rare that happens. Like I did want to ask one thing, and then I do want to go to NBA because
okay, yeah,
we've been doing a lot of NFL. Um, when the Rams made that pick, when they picked Goff, because they traded up, right?
yep,
When did they? Was that on draft day or was that before?
no, no, it was before.
Okay, that's what I thought. See, I just don't know if we would get that.
Day
Move.
of.
Yeah.
That's
Like
fair.
I think at this point, I mean, Cam Ward's even been on like TikTok saying,
Yeah.
Ridley's
Traylon
nice.
Burks, top four receiver.
Yeah, he knows he's a Titan. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, I just like how you said selling your fan base on it. Like, realistically, who's the more exciting player, Travis Hunter or Cam Ward?
Oh, Travis for sure.
And so I think you could figuratively, but also literally sell your team on that. Be like, look, we're dog shit, but guess what? We got Travis Hunter. Like, there's gonna be some fun plays that you'll miss out on if you don't get season tickets. Like, and there's like
And
they
it'd
have
be fun to
Simmons.
see Levis throw Trav the ball.
Yeah, yeah. When Trav's maybe playing defense,
Yeah.
but like I just think that you have a lot of flexibility, and I don't think that they shouldn't feel forced to take Ward just because they need a quarterback, especially when they could just wait a year. Like Titans suck, dude. Titans suck.
It's unfortunate, but I love it for the AFC South. Let's
Yeah,
go.
but yeah,
Yeah, let's go to some NBA. I did love the draft talk. I miss the NFL, so I'm good with the draft talk. But we got some good playoff action that I've been pretty locked in on. I haven't missed many games. It's been a pretty fun start. Um, let's hit on. I want to hit on a couple series. So we'll try and keep them brief, but we're obviously going to talk Lakers T Wolves, of course. I picked the T Wolves to win the series, um, but with the caveat, like I placed both bets for the Lakers to win the West and for the T Wolves to win the series. Because if the Lakers come out of it, even in this matchup that I don't like for them, I think they have a really good chance to win the West, um, especially if they're able to handle the T Wolves from here maybe and get a very tired Rockets or Warriors, because I think that's gonna go to seven. I think the Rockets are showing up tonight. Um, so we had game one where it was a blowout for the T Wolves. Game two, I know the Wolves kind of came back, but that was pretty much a blowout for LA for the most part. Luka kind of pressed off the gas a little bit. Who knows what happened, but that was a pretty ugly game for the most part. Are you feeling good about the Lakers going into Minnesota?
no. Hold on.
I
I don't
think
think.
if you're doing so, I can talk really
Oh yeah,
quick.
you go.
Um, I think the interesting thing about the game last night was that they changed the game plan. I think the Wolves, like, I don't think it was fluke shooting from game one necessarily.
Yeah,
Um, and Nick Wright talked about this also, and I kind of agreed. I think it was a game plan kind of issue defensively, and it seemed like they fixed that. So I'm a little worried about my T Wolves pick slightly. I'm very curious to see how game three goes. Um, but offensively, the Lakers looked a lot better, which was very encouraging. And that's what I talked with you about kind of before. Like, they needed to figure that out. They needed to figure out a way to get AR going. And he started rough, but definitely figured it out over the course of the game, which is really good to see.
hit some big
Uh,
shots.
Hit some very big shots, had some big moments. Luca did as well, obviously. I think what's really interesting about these two Laker games is we've kind of seen, like, we had the Lake Coast game one. That shouldn't have been a shock to anybody. Game two, though, I gotta check the box score, but it didn't feel like LeBron really took many shots. I guess he did
He
in the
was
second half. It
he was
looks
eight
like.
of 19, I think.
Yeah, he took a lot in the fourth. That's what it was. He went 2 for 8 in the fourth. But other than that, he didn't really have a quarter where he shot a lot. Um, I think I think we need to see the big three for the T Wolves, or I'm sorry, for the Lakers to come out of the series. I think we need to see the big three really be better consistently. It's been very Luca heavy, which Luca's phenomenal. Nico continues to be digging his grave every time he sees this guy play. Um, but we need to. LeBron needs to be better for sure. I think I do pause a little bit on that because he had 11 boards and 7 assists. So I think he's playing good defense.
Yeah,
So they're winning. They won game two. So I'm not just hating LeBron here, but if they're going to come out of the West, let alone win the series, he's got to be more on the 25 points, consistently ish. I mean, even last night, like they haven't hit 100 in either game. Like I don't think the Wolves, like they shot 5 for 25 from three. That's not going to happen in Minnesota. So the Lakers are going to need to have 100 points starting in game three.
yeah,
That's kind of my overall takeaway right now.
yeah. It seemed like yesterday they were hunting Gobert, and as much as I love to see that happen,
Oh,
it's
it
not
was amazing.
sustainable.
Yeah.
I don't think it's sustainable. They got Nas Reed in foul trouble early, and that kind
Yeah,
of
the refs
shifted.
called a really weird game. I don't know how much they showed on the highlights, but man, it was they had Vando almost had foul trouble like right away. One got reversed on a challenge as it should have, but they were calling they were calling a lot of fouls both ways. So I'm interested to
Yeah,
see how that carries into game three as well.
yeah. I just I, yeah, hunting Gobert is not sustainable, and especially going into. I mean, the Wolves have a good fan base. I know that the place is going to be extremely loud, especially because Luka dogged them the last time he was there.
Mhm.
I just I don't think that they're going to take game three. I think it's more likely the Lakers take four and then five. I think
Hmm.
that's the pipeline, and then potentially close it out in six. But I still think it's going to go seven either way. The thing that pisses me off, dude, is like obviously Luka, like we talked about over text, like Luka's first half is really good, and then the second half he kind of just doesn't appear offensively the way he did the first, and that's it is what it is at this point. That's just kind of I think how he plays until they like need him to come in for the second half and like really turn it up.
Yeah.
I need more from Reeves. Simply put, I don't think he's
Yeah.
performing as like he needs to be putting up 20. Like if you're going to be a cone on defense, I'm gonna need you to start hitting your shots and hitting them consistently. I can take a bad LeBron offensive game, even then still had 20 and 7, you know.
Yeah. No,
And
it
then
wasn't bad. It was
yeah,
just
like he's out there and he's probably our best defensive player by like a good country mile. Um,
yeah.
and they need him to be that. But it pisses me off, dude. Rui Hachimura, trash. Sorry. Dog water, dog trash. Like Dorian Finney Smith, I didn't expect him to be offensively contributing heavy, but like, I'm gonna need you to hit some threes, bro. Bad. And then Gabe Vincent actually showed up yesterday. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
he Miami Gabe Vincent question mark. Uh,
He
I know it was only 6 points, but I'm glad you brought that up because I watched the game and defensively very sound. He just looked very comfortable. So I'm with you there.
yeah. And I I would like to see them keep him around. I just they don't have guys like they don't have the depth of the Wolves where they can bring up like Nas Reed, go get us 10 points real quick, or Dante DiVincenzo hit a couple threes for me. Like they
Yeah,
don't have that. They have Dalton Connect rotting on the bench for no reason because JJ Redick doesn't like him. Um, Jared
Jackson
Vanderbilt,
Hayes is just freaking a head
yeah,
case, man.
that that's confusing to me too. I think JJ is just preparing for when Hayes is going to be a backup next year. He's already role playing as his next season
Yeah,
role, but like they don't have guys outside of the top three who can really shoot outside of Hachimura, and even then, unless it's the Grizzlies, Rui Hachimura is not going to play well. Like that's just
yeah,
it is what it is now at this point. But God, it pisses me off so much. I don't know what they're going to do this offseason, but it the first thing that needs to be on the agenda is get a sixth man or somebody off the bench who will just score buckets.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
AR went
yeah,
0 for 6 from three yesterday. That can't happen.
yeah,
He's got to be better. I mean, the the Lakers really ride on this big three, and like they really showed up defensively against the Wolves. So I'm not going to take away from their game yesterday because it was a blowout. They won. That's what matters. But uh, they're not going to win the series with how the big three overall is playing right now,
yeah,
off like scoring wise. So they're going to have to figure that out. Um, Also, and my last thing, Randall showed up yesterday. I'm telling you, man, you got to
I'm
be on
I'm
the
so
lookout.
it's so annoying too because it's literally the only time in his career he showed up for the playoffs, bro, and it's against the
I
Lakers.
think he's going to have a better playoff series. I think
Oh
even
yeah,
game one, even though it wasn't as great as yesterday, it still was overall good besides some of the turnovers in game one.
he has the archetype to be like not a LeBron stopper, but like a LeBron like deterrent.
Hmm.
I just God, dude, I just oh my God, I don't know. I really wish that Mark Williams trade went through, especially considering that Dalton
Oh,
Connect
I
doesn't
know.
play any goddamn minutes, dude. But yeah, I just is what it is at this point. I don't. They're pissing me off, and I didn't even get to watch the full game yesterday. So
I want to pivot and just hit on. We'll do a couple quick thoughts on other series really
yeah.
quick. The best series right now, no question. Now we'll see how game two for Rockets Warriors goes tonight, but we've seen two games of Clippers Nuggets.
Oh, cinema.
Unreal series. I mean, we had the first game go to OT. Nuggets threw away, you know, the game in the last minute with a couple weird turnovers. Aaron Gordon missed a dunk. That was pretty bizarre. One of the best dunkers ever. I don't know how that happens. And
Yeah.
then what was the Michael Porter got like a weird shoulder thing at the end. It was weird. They kind of let it go. But that series is unreal. It's 1-1 going into LA. Um, I You can't sleep on either of these teams. The only caveat is they got the Thunder, who have listen. I think I've been fair with the Thunder. Maybe I've been too much of a hater. I just think when they play a really good team in the playoffs, I think they don't have the guys that have experience. But they've obviously deserved to be a favorite and everything. It's just let me see them against the Clippers or the Nuggets, and then I'll really buy into the Thunder. But the way the Clippers and Nuggets are both playing right now, I think the Thunder are in for a heck of a challenge, whoever comes out of there, because um, Kawhi is playing very well. Harden is doing Harden things, and what people don't talk about with the Clippers is like you go down their roster. Norman Powell, you know, playoff vet, obviously. Batum, yeah, he's not doing a lot, but he's a vet. You know, he's not scared of the moment. Zubac playing really well. Dunn contributed a little bit.
Dude,
Wasn't
Dunn
his
is an
best
animal.
game too, but I just think they're the Clippers roster if they can escape Denver. And I have Denver winning the series, but the Clippers are no joke for sure. That would be I would feel better about the Thunder beating the Nuggets than the Thunder beating the Clippers.
I agree.
With how the teams, assembled. Um, there's just too much veteran presence on the Clippers. That's a bad matchup for for the Thunder, I think. Do you have any quick thoughts there at all?
I really want to see the Clippers win. Um, Probably not anything a Lakers fan has ever said in their lifetime, but I think that they have a really good squad this year, and I'd really like to see Lakers Clippers Western Conference Finals because I think out of all the years the Clippers since they've signed Kawhi have had like a legitimate shot outside of the bubble. This is probably the year like to do something. Otherwise, it's just going to be. I don't think they're going to reach these heights next year, but
No, I
yeah,
agree with that.
it it makes me happy to see Kawhi ball out. Prime James Harden is back. Like they got a team. Um,
I mean,
yeah,
they're just so well rounded. It blows
yeah,
my mind. Like you have a really good paint center. You've got mid-range scoring in Kawhi. You've got the passing and playmaking of Harden and that three-point shooting as well as Kawhi's. I mean, Norman Powell had a really good year. He didn't have a great game in game two, but I'm not like doubting Norman Powell at all. Like, I mean that he can get hot at any moment. So I'm with you. I think it'd be really fun to see the Clippers advance. Um, we'll see how far they get. Um, let's talk about. Let's see. Okay, I want to hit on two series and then we'll call it from here. So Rockets, Warriors. Game two's
Banger.
tonight. Warriors are up 1-0. I think the Rockets take this game. I think the hate, not the hate, but just the how the national media is, and I'm going to hit on this with the Knicks Pistons as well. I think there's just more of a draw for like Steph and Jimmy Butler, which hey, that's deserved. The Warriors, I just think the Warriors are overrated. I'll keep preaching it until I'm wrong, and then I'll say I'm wrong. The Rockets made this game close in game one, even though the Warriors ended up winning by 10. The Warriors were up like 22-23. The Rockets brought it all the way back to 4. And in game one, they shot, this will blow your mind. Game one, they shot 20% from 3. They had 16 turnovers. They didn't shoot 40% from the field, and they brought it back to 4. Like, I don't believe in Jalen Green necessarily, but I think he can have a game where he's a semi-efficient 20. Dylan Brooks can play better. We've seen it. He's not afraid of the big moment either. I mean, he played in the Olympics. He's played whatever. Like he's Dylan Brooks. So the hate is deserved, but he has a lot of like big game experience. Um, Amen, sure. We may not get the offensive production there, but I don't want to close that door either. Like we've seen it in the regular season. Fred VanVleet, playoff vet as well. Um, so I'm just not willing to close the door on the Rockets yet for this playoff run. And obviously, Sengun's an absolute monster. I think he's that guy. Um, and again, the Warriors put up 95 points with Steph and Jimmy combining for 50 of that. So
Yeah.
I just want like people to pause a little bit. Let's see what happens in game two. I think the Rockets come out hot. I think they're able to score tonight. They still will have offensive questions through the series, absolutely. They deserve that. That's been a question through the regular season, but I think let's just see what happens. I think they're going to shoot better, have a better offensive game plan, be more settled in at home, and at least take game two.
I think they'll take game two. I honestly think they'll take the series.
I do too. I still feel decent about it. Um, I mean, the
Yeah.
Warriors are scary
Yeah.
for
I,
sure.
I,
They're not deep. I mean, like they're playing guys like besides pods, whatever. Like you're not getting scoring from Draymond, Gary Payton, maybe. You're playing post a lot. Who's I don't think he's very good. Santos, whatever. Buddy Hield's not really been a factor, and Kuminga's a DNP. So, like, which I think helps the Warriors, by the way. But my point in bringing that up is like you're pretty limited on the scoring end besides Butler and Curry, and the Rockets have proved they can slow him down. It just Curry got on demon mode in game one,
yeah.
which props to him. But I don't think we're going to be able to get that. The Warriors are not going to get that Curry game in and game out. They had to have that to put up 95 and escape that game. To me, is what it felt like.
Yeah, I didn't realize how bad the surrounding core was on the Warriors until you just said it. Yeah, I doubled down on my Rockets take.
Yeah, like I don't get it. The national media and people love Golden State, and I'm like, I mean, playoff Jimmy, I get it. Steph is the greatest shooter ever, one of the best point guards ever. I get it, but I mean, these guys are vets. They're playing a young, feisty, gritty Houston team.
Yeah,
That doesn't match up well for a series, but it all depends on if Houston can score. Because if they put up another 85 points tonight, like the series is over.
yeah,
But I don't. I mean, Jalen Green was a borderline DNP himself. I don't think we're going to see that again. Um, so, um, I'm interested, but I still feel good about the Rockets, and it sounds like you do too. So we'll see what happens there. The last series I want to talk about, I know we're running long, but we'll keep this one brief. I like the Pistons. I bet on the Pistons to win this series, which was, obviously a pretty hot take. And they look pretty dang good against the Knicks. I mean, besides one fourth quarter meltdown in game one, they've outplayed the Knicks for almost every quarter of this series so far. Um, do you have any? I mean, I can keep going, but do you have any thoughts there that you want to hit on with that series?
Um, Everything that people say Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is actually what Jalen Brunson is. I'm so tired of watching him play basketball. The one time that I watched the Knicks play the Lakers and he just foul baited the shit out of them back in March when he got hurt, I was like, yeah, Lakers are winning this game, but I still don't even want to watch it because
Yeah,
he's just doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over. And then when you think it's done, more foul baiting, dude.
hundred percent, hundred
It's so
percent.
frustrating.
He had 11 free throws in the last game, and they still lost.
Yeah, I don't know how is Cat doing well this series because I'm about
No,
to pull a cat out of the hat. Yeah,
no.
it's low key crazy to me that at this very moment the Wolves won the trade.
Yeah, I mean, I, even as a guy who took the Pistons, I think let's see how these next couple games go. But it looks that way right now for sure. I
Like
mean,
I'm sure that the Knicks, a thought process in it was, wow, we're gonna have like a top five starting five in the league. Like these guys are gonna pump out serious revenue for us at MSG. Like tickets are already expensive at MSG. Now we have a good team. Cat, is a star. Like let's do it. Now they have no flexibility. They don't really have a bench. Like Miles McBride is their six man. No shade to him, but like that's just it's not cutting it. Um,
he had no
Mikal
points
Brid-
in the second half. By the way, I bet on Cats over live in that game, and he did not score 1 point in the second half. Like, come on,
and
man.
I don't remember Cat being this bad in the playoffs with Minnesota, unless I'm
No,
like revisionist history. But
I don't think
he
he was great, but
he
he
showed
wasn't.
up.
He showed up in a couple games. He had
Yeah,
some disappearing games, but I listen. Again, it's a national media thing. Like, do I understand the Knicks being favored in the series? Of course, but I've talked to you about the Pistons many times. I know they're young. There's a lot of no names for the general public, but they're good. And Cade is legit. People forget Cade was a number one overall pick just only a couple years ago, and he's just been slowly developing in Detroit, and they've been slowly getting pieces. Like the Pistons are good. They are, and that fan base in Detroit. I heard this the other day. They haven't won a home playoff game since 2008. They are going to be rocking for Game Three. There's no way the Knicks win that game. Maybe Game Four, but for Game Three, Detroit's taking that game. That's going to be one of the loudest like crowds that we've seen. I feel like in this playoff so far. I'm excited to watch that game.
yeah, I agree with literally every single thing you said.
Like they're yeah. I mean that like I'm just watch out for the Pistons. I don't know if they do anything past you know the Knicks if they get by. They'd be playing the two, which would be the Celtics. Like they're
Oh
cooked.
shit!
Like that's a sweep, but they're fun right now. They're fun
What's
right now. I
what's
mean,
crazy is if the Pistons and the Celtics played, Cade would be the best player in the series.
low key though. So yeah, this series only fires me up because I'm like people just sleep on the Pistons. I guess. I mean, I, the Knicks have not been that good all year, and people were still taking them like they're a very good team in the East. I'm like, no, not really. Like I don't
The
know, but we'll see how the series goes. We're obviously two
NBA
games in.
t- NBA Twitter calls him run shit.
He's not. Yeah, he's not that. He's a literal free throw. He's worse than Shea in the
Dude,
free throw category. So
that
yeah,
shit has me crying.
they're just not like a. I mean, you look at the box score. Like, I mean, McCall showed up kind of, but they're just not. I
If
don't know. They're
if you think
not that
about it,
good.
they're like the Warriors if the Warriors were ass.
Yeah,
Like they have two
definitely.
guys who could probably get a bucket for you in Brunson and Cat. Um, Josh Hart's like their Draymond, and then you could just call Moses Moody, I guess, their OG, and then McCall would be I don't
And
know.
OG is better than Moody, but still, like
Yeah,
they're just
that's
not.
the thing that pisses me off, dude. Is this team should be like McCall's been to the finals, right? McCall went to the
Yeah,
finals with the Suns. OG went to the finals with the Raptors. Brunson made a good run last year with the Knicks. Cat went to the Western Conference Finals last year, and Josh Hart has been. uh, I mean, I don't think he's had crazy deep playoff runs, but like he's still like he doesn't. His game doesn't thrive off of like performing in high pressure situations. Like he's usually getting rebounds. He's distributing the ball. Like he's playing good defense. Like they should be better.
no,
I
the
just
roster is really, really good. They should be
yeah,
better.
I dude. Okay, real quick, the teams that sorry, I
No,
can't
you're
I
good.
can't end on this. The teams that need to blow it up after this year, after they get bounced in the first round, Grizzlies need to blow it up. The Nuggets need to
Grizzlies,
make a
yeah,
trade. Nuggets need to make a trade.
yeah,
Um, I think if the Warriors get bounced, I don't think they'll do anything because they're just stuck as they are until they get rid of the backpack. Um,
yeah.
at least
I
money
agree.
wise. And then the Knicks, dude. Knicks blow it up. Please. Please blow it up. Um, they
Yeah, in a
suck.
weak East, if they don't make it out of the first round, my goodness.
Yeah. Like,
And
come
to
on.
a Piston, like I like the Pistons, but I also understand that they're a very young team with like very little experience, and it's a franchise that hasn't won anything in a really long time. Like you can't lose to them in the first round. You better not.
Yeah. Whoever wins that series gets to keep OG Ananobi.
Yeah,
That should be the prize because the Pistons will probably gentleman sweep them from here on out
yeah,
if they could add another 3-and-D wing.
they'd be motivated.
Yeah. R- Grizzlies definitely need to blow it up. I think the Lakers will need to make a big splash if they lose in the first round. I think the Thunder might make a big splash. The Rockets could very well go get KD. Um, and the Celtics need to, or holy moly, sorry, not the Celtics. The Magic need to go get Kobe White. And they need to figure out if
Mhm.
Franz Wagner and Paulo is going to be the thing or if they need to move Franz to open up room for role players and a Kobe White because they're not winning this series. I think everyone knows that. Oh, and the Bucks, dude. The Bucks, Giannis is gone.
Yeah, there's a lot of I
So
think
long is Giannis.
Grizzlies are for sure blowing it up. Ja's gonna be in Charlotte or something. I don't know.
God.
Um, so that's a for sure. Rockets will. I think they can move either way, but we'll see. I think yeah, Flaker. I mean, I think Lakers are always going to be in the rumors for big moves in the offseason, so that's not a shocker.
Need a
I
center,
do
bro.
like the Magic a lot in their core of Franz and Paulo. I think they're going to keep that, and I think we'll see kind of what moves they can make. The NBA is very different from the NFL because draft picks are nowhere near as valuable, and so it's all off season and all trades. So we'll see what they can do. But I like the yeah, their core is good. I think even a guy like Cole Anthony, pretty solid role player for the most part.
Yeah. But like the issue with me is that they have Paulo and Franz who are like big wings, and then they have Anthony Black coming up. They have Jawan Howard's kid. Is it Jet Howard? And then
Yeah,
they have Cole Anthony. They have Suggs. They have Goga. Shout out Goga. They have Wendell Carter. Like they have
yep.
like a solid roster around them. Pope. But I think if they could trade Franz into like three good role players, and then Paulo's your guy, and then you bring in a Kobe White because they need a real point guard. Like if you have a talented team in the East, there's no reason for you to lose in the first round.
No, for sure. I agree. Unless I mean the Magic spot is brutal because they're playing
That's
like
yeah, they're an
Messi,
excuse, but even then,
my
I still
opinion.
think they
But
need to make a move. the The Pacers suck, and they're beating the Bucks.
okay, Pacers. I'll push back on the Pacers a little bit. I think the
The
Pacers are
Pacers
better.
suck, dude.
They don't suck. They don't suck.
Okay, they don't suck, but if they played in the West, every team 1 through 7 would bounce them in 5.
I agree with that.
By my
I
def,
think the Pacers are legit though. I think they're legit in terms of like they were in the conference finals last year. That
but
they've made
they
runs. That
but
like
they
they're
beat
good.
like the Knicks who had Brunson on a half leg, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. They still made the conference final. I think they're good.
In the
They're a small
East.
market team that makes a good run. Like
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
you know,
They
like
they sh- they should trade Nemhard. I don't think that they would want to, and maybe the verbiage is wrong. I don't think they should trade Nemhard, but I think if there's a team out there like the Magic who want a point guard who can take on a bigger role and turn into like a Brunson type where they explode, I think Nemhard is the guy. I've seen a lot of hype around Nemhard. Like he's the only role player, uh, playoff riser, like of
no, he
recent.
is. He's done it year on
He's
year in
good,
year out.
dude.
Yeah,
Every single time, he's always making some dumbass shot that
yeah,
Curry would make.
yeah. That's true.
Always clockwork. Yeah,
It would be interesting to see if they what they do because I Halliburton got voted most overrated player. I think it's pretty fair. I think Halliburton's good, but slightly overrated.
it's
But
Tatum.
he's still
It's Tatum, dude. He's the only player that can shoot. Only number one in that whole league. Think about this. The okay, there's only two guys in the NBA who can play like dog shit and they'll still win by 20. We both know who those two are.
well. There's one that would be.
There's one in each conference.
Is it Shea?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay. I was just
like
making sure. I was just making sure.
yeah. I'm a Shea fanboy till I
Is
die,
that
but
your
like
MVP though?
that's my MVP. But that motherfucker shot he got 9 points against the Grizz in game one and they won by 53. Like holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I know.
To
Yeah,
be fair
MVP,
though,
hey, Shea MVP voters, please look at game one.
Grizzlies are like 10 times worse than the Magic.
Oh, the Grizzlies are freaking. That's why I want to see like people are like gassing up the Thunder crazy. I'm like, let's see him against the Clippers or Nuggets, and then we'll like, you know,
Yeah.
see how we feel.
Yeah,
Because I think it'll shock a lot of people to see how like close it is. But
yeah, but Tatum's the most overrated player in the league, dude. I've never seen like a really good role player hyped up as much as he is.
insane shade.
Dude, he can't even win Finals MVP on his team.
He might this year.
Hell no.
Um, I'm pretty good with that episode. I'm good to. That was solid. Draft, NBA. I'm loving the NBA playoffs right now. I'm fired up on that. That's why I've been a little MIA on the NFL mocks, but I'm going to be cooking tonight. So we'll
I
see what we come up with.
I took the day off tomorrow to watch this damn draft. So I
Let's
if the
go.
Rams don't if the Rams don't pick tomorrow, someone's getting harassed on Twitter.
I'm going to be locked in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't. The Texans are in a weird spot with this draft because they need guys, but I don't think they're going to be making any moves. Nick Casario was like, "Yeah, we might trade up." I'm like, "You're not trading up," but
I
we'll
think
see.
they're the most obvious suitor for Egbuka in the
It's
first
going to be
round.
so sick when they pick him. It's going to be so sick.
Ohio State boys.
Oh yeah, baby, let's go. But I'll wrap it up. I believe episode 14 in the books. As always, let us know down below if you got any recommendations, any critiques. We appreciate you listening. And yeah, we'll be back soon with probably a draft recap, some more NBA, and then we'll get to MLB again as well. So appreciate y'all. And we're out. Peace.